Hello and welcome to Politics here on France 24. Marriage for all. This is the French version of gay wedding, and it has ignited a political storm here. The socialist government is presenting a bill at the end of the month allowing same-sex marriage and adoption, and they thought it would be easy given the vast support of the French for gay marriage. However, the furious reaction from the Catholic Church and from conservative parties, which is supposed to climax during mass demonstrations across France this Sunday, has surprised even its promoters. So, will this go down easily with the French, or will this become a new culture war, as they call it in the United States? To talk about the issue today, our first guest is Franck Marguin, who is the vice president of the Christian Democratic Party, which is associated with the opposition conservative party, the UMP. Welcome. Also on the set, Corinne Narassiguin, who is the socialist MP representing the French living in North America and who's a spokesperson of the socialist group in the parliament on this very issue. Welcome to you too. Before we get to them, let's take a look at how the issue which has been dominated by essentially adults, is now becoming also an issue in school, with the church and the government squaring off on whether the French children should be part of the debate and maybe the demonstrations this Sunday.
At this Catholic primary school in Toulouse, parents are considering whether their little ones should devote time not only to maths and grammar, but to gay marriage.
I want schools to have these debates because it's a social issue and it's an aspect of the society that our children are living in, so one should be able to talk about it.
There's no reason to have this kind of debate in schools. Children don't share the same concerns as their parents.
If parents are divided, the minister is unequivocal.
Certain small minds want to hold children hostage in an adult debate. No, my responsibility as Minister of Education is to keep adult debate in adult society.
But in a letter last month, the Secretary General of the Catholic Education System, Eric Delabarre, said students should be able to discuss gay marriage freely.
Every primary and secondary school should take the appropriate steps to ensure everyone has the freedom to make an informed decision.
Demonstrators have taken to the streets both for and against gay marriage ever since ministers approved a draft bill legalizing marriage and adoption for same-sex couples in November. If passed, the bill would make France the 12th country in the world to legalize same-sex marriage. The National Front has announced it will participate in a march against the proposed bill this weekend.
Corinne Narassiguin, are the socialists going ahead with what they've promised, the President François Hollande, during his campaign, despite this growing opposition from the Catholic Church, this whole national debate that has erupted over the issue? Absolutely.
The text will be examined by the Parliament at the National Assembly in commission starting next week, starting on Monday. And then in the public session on January 29th. So we're going ahead with the calendar. There is no change. And so you expect the same-sex marriage and adoption bill to be voted when? We hope before the summer, before the end of this session, because it takes a little bit of time. It has to go to the Senate, and there's normally a shuttle back and forth twice between the National Assembly and the Senate. So we expect the debate at the National Assembly to last in public session at least a couple of weeks. We want the debate to be open and to take as much time as it needs. So it's difficult to give you an exact calendar because of this, but we are hoping before June that it will be done. Before we get to Franck Marguin, have you been surprised by the level of opposition? Not completely. Actually, I'm a little surprised to hear the same kind of arguments that we've seen during the debate on the PACs 14 years ago. So that I'm surprised about the content of the arguments, because sometimes it's the same things that we thought we were past some of these issues. But I'm not completely surprised that the people who are against it are so vocal about it, maybe because they've spent so much time in the US. And so I'm not surprised that there is a core of people who are very much against it, are going to be very vocal about it, and more often more vocal than the ones who are for it. I think there's a natural tendency to demonstrate when you're against something than when you're for something that's being done by the majority in power.
Okay. Franck Marguin, you're going to demonstrate on Sunday?
Yes, I'm going to demonstrate, and I call all my colleagues and the French to come to this demonstration. I think it's important, and I'm very pleased you just raised the issue about the PACs, what we call civil union in France, and I just want to give a bit of a back memory on that. I just want to stress the fact that it's a very fragile contract when people are entering into a civil union in France, and when somebody would like to leave the other one, the one who is left without any kind of protection. And our socialist friends are telling us it's a progress. I think it's a regress. I'm always defending the most fragile people in this world, and the most fragile people are the women who have not been able to decide on their own the best way to protect themselves, and they are left alone with their children, which I think it's not a progress. So when you see the debate, and my colleague saying, oh, it's the same debate as 14 years ago, I'm pleased you said that, because exactly, we don't want fragile people to be obliged to go through this situation.
But okay, we're now in 2013. The issue is same-sex marriage and same-sex adoption. Are you in favor of same-sex marriage and or same-sex adoption?
I'm in favor of giving the right to the gay population to be recognized as a citizen, normal citizen, without any difference. That's the issue, and I understand why they've been badly treated during the war, during thousand centuries, and that's for me very important for them to be recognized.
So now, they should be allowed to marry.
Yes, they could have a civil union. We have brought the issue, and actually today UMP has brought this issue and this proposition to create a mariage pour tous, as they call it, but we call that civil union. So everybody would like to be married, could be married. That's nothing to do with adoption. The problem in this bill, which is very well badly understood by the French and badly understood by the socialists, that they are mixing the filiation, the children, the adoption, with the fact that people want to live together and to be recognized as normal citizens. And that's where the issue stands. And that's where you are surprised to see million people, against that, because France, we are the country of the human right. And the human rights, since 200 years, are also taking into account the right of the children. You've been abandoned. You are an orphan. What the legal are giving you, what are they going to give you? A dad plus a dad, or a mom plus a mom. They are not even be able to give you a mom and dad, just to give you what I call the wealth of the difference. I think it's a real danger for the children to be considered as a product we'd like to get. That's where I am.
So do you agree that the opposition, like Franck Marguin, who seems to be in favor of gay marriage, is about gay adoption, or, as the Catholic Church says, actually it's also against gay marriage?
I think it's both. I think there's a stronger reaction towards the question of adoption and children.
We see it in the polls. The French are less in favor of same-sex adoption.
What crystallizes the opposition, but I think most people who are against adoption are also against marriage.
You think they're pretending to be only against adoption? Is this what you're saying?
I think it crystallizes the issue, and it's easier to explain that they're against marriage because they're against adoption. Because the two issues are completely linked. In French law today, if you're the law about adoption is just that you have to be married, you have to be a single person or a married couple. It doesn't say what kind of couple you are. So when you open marriage to gay people, you automatically give them the right to adopt.
That's what you feel.
That is, and I think it's a good thing that we are linking the two, because it's about security of families. As you said, there are different ways to be a family in France. You can be non-married, you can be paxed, and it's true that it's a lower form of protection,
That's
definitely.
encouraging fragility.
But definitely, and people need to understand that when they choose the pax. But because of this, I think gay couples also have the right to have full security for their families through marriage. And what the opposition needs to understand is this law is not going to create families with gay families with children. They already exist, and they will continue to exist whether we pass this law or not. People who want to have children will have children. And most of these adoptions are not going to be international adoptions, and not going to be adoptions of abandoned people. They are going to be adoptions of the children of your spouse. This is what happened in Belgium, this is what happened in Spain, this is what happened in the Netherlands. And so this is the reality, is these families already exist.
But that's not the issue. I think I could not believe you are able to say on the TV that because you want it, that you issue a bill. I mean, it's not because I want something that the government has to create a law for that. You are telling me, yes, we do that in Belgium, we do that in Spain, so that's great. But have a look on history. That's not which was done in Spain, 40 or 50 years ago, or in Germany for 50 years. Because they were done, they were good, and we will have to follow. Be careful to be able to always think about what is important for the population and what is important for the children. Yes. What is important for the children is to be respected. When you say, but they are not protected because they are already existing. But these children who are living in a family today of a gay family, they have been able to be born from a mom and dad. So they have a mom and dad. That's nothing to do. They probably have divorced, or they have been for whatever reason. Now, if they have bought the eggs from a surrogate mother, that's another issue. And obviously, you've got to treat that, but they are just against the law. So you could easily imagine, and that's the reason I'm against the gay marriage, because they are exactly what she said. They are just linking the two. Civil union for all people, and now when we have to build a new system on adoption, we've got to think about first stopping, the adoption from a single parent. That's coming from the war. You are able to adopt as a single parent because we were full of orphans, and the legislation was not that bad at that time. They accepted that an uncle or aunt or godmother whatsoever would be able to raise the child. Now it's finished. You've got, less than 5,000 children to be adopted, and you've got, 40,000 demands. So I think you are just wrong. You're just wrong.
While we speak, we can look at a map of Europe and see that a number of countries have adopted same-sex marriage and adoption. We can show this while we continue the discussion. Is Franck Marguin and all the ones who are going to demonstrate on Sunday fighting yesterday's war?
I think so. I think they need, all of them, to watch the auditions that we had on December 20th, where we listened to families, parents, and also children who are now adults who were raised by homosexual parents, and understand in the situation in which they are and what they're asking, especially those children. They're asking for security. They're asking to have both their parents fully recognized as their parents. And this is what protection of children is. It's about making sure that those children who exist and the new children who are going to come in these families, because whether we pass the law or not, I will say it again, these families will continue to exist and to grow.
But
they need to have, we have a lot of parents where, especially couples, women couples, right? Where they go and have artificial insemination abroad.
Yeah. Because they have a father anyway.
Well, it's a sperm donor.
But if they decide not to give that's their decision in that case.
These children never had. They've only known two women as their parents.
But they have a father.
Just quickly, do you think that the government will blink, or do you think they will go ahead and that this could create more?
Have to withdraw. No.
You think they will have to withdraw?
But because the law is not well. Sorry, the law is not well set. That's the issue. They could have gone through, as I said, civil union, reform the adoption, and move forward to a different step. They just want, because it's an ideology, it's a dogma.
Yeah,
for them, it's a dogma.
But why would they backtrack? Because of opposition? Because the French will let them know. First, be careful about one thing which is very important. French have not elected Mr. Hollande for that. First, he was not elected by the majority of the voters, only by the majority of, those who are expressed something. So that's the first president who has not been, elected as a majority. So those who have, no, but that's true. Those who have voted for him have not voted for that. So he has to be very careful because, that's a first demonstration on Sunday, but that will carry on. A word of conclusion, do you think that the government will blink, that there might be some people who say we have to be careful, make sure we have goodwill?
We are fully determined. This is a question of equality in the French Republic, and it's a basic principle for us. And I do not understand your argument of doing it in steps if you are against it. That doesn't make sense to me.
Because adoption is an issue.
And you cannot, and we do not want to keep treating gay people as a separate kind of citizen by creating a separate kind of union for them.
No, but that's not a union for gay. It's a union for all.
So you're just creating a little bit better pacts. That's what you're offering.
I would propose a better pact.
That's not, to us, that's not equality of rights.
No, but for you, but that's not true.
So just very quickly, back in the 1980s, for all those old enough to remember, there was mass demonstration against the reform of private schools. The socialist government at the time, withdrew its project. Could this happen?
No, because this was really in François Hollande's presidential project. This was in his platform. This is something that all of us also, members of the parliament who were elected on the same on the same platform are attached to, and we'll go forward with it.
No, but that's like the vote for foreigners. He will withdraw, and I'm telling you that Mrs. Taubira doesn't believe in the project, and Mr. Hollande is so. And you know that, and Mr. Hero is not in favor. So you must be very careful. At the top of the government, they are not that sure.
Okay, we'll have the verdict, probably first verdict on Sunday. We'll see the number of demonstrators in the street, and then the follow-up in Parliament, where you will be obviously involved in pushing this bill. Thank you very much for watching this edition of Politics here on France 24.